Can you discuss the financial aspects of medical writing? How lucrative is it for someone pursuing it part-time during MBBS?
Now, typically, I'm talking from the Indian perspective. You can start by charging 1 rupee per word. The more you write and the more you interact with people in this field, you will get a better idea. Journals, right? Research journals for which you can create research articles. So when people will see that your articles have been published in these, what you can say, credible resources, be it a website like WHO or CDC. So if you have been able to get yourself an article on the CDC website, that is going to help you build a strong portfolio. So these are a few tips that you can use to build your portfolio.
All right, man. Thank you so much for this in-depth answers for this question. So now moving to the next part, as we have covered till the client, so it is also important to decide about the pricing and payment. So how did you determine how much to charge for your services? As these are there any standard rates or factor you consider when pricing?
So, see, there are no standard or fixed rates, especially as a freelance medical writer, because in freelancing, you are your own boss, so you can charge anything. But whatever you charge, you have to ensure that you are delivering that value. Okay. So, say for example, you are writing 1,000 word blog post. Okay. Now, typically, I'm talking from the Indian perspective. You can start by charging 1 rupee per word. Now, health and wellness or medical topics are usually special topics. Not everybody can write on these topics. So nowadays, if you see, uh, people charge 2 rupees per word in the medical content field. But you, as a beginner, you can start out by charging 1 rupee per word. So if you're writing 1,000 word article, it will be equivalent to 1,000 rupees. But that is only the writing part. For writing that those 1,000 words, you will have to do a lot of research. A lot of time will go in that, right? Sometimes it will happen that you may have to team up with a medical expert and take their opinion, right? Because you might be writing on say child psychology article, but you are a general doctor, a general physician. You are not an expert in child psychology, but you can create that content because you're a doctor end of the day. But there will be certain areas under child psychology that maybe you have communicated with a child psychologist and you have added his opinion, so that person may charge you. Correct. So you need to take into account all these factors. And also, if you want to optimize this particular blog for a website, you need to do search engine optimization. So you need to sit and find out the keywords, how to optimize the headlines, and all that you have to do. So this 1,000 word blog post will not be now equivalent to only 1,000 rupees. Based on paying somebody for that expert opinion, or finding such experts in your network is also very time consuming. Doing SEO optimization. So with all this, you can easily rank. I'm just giving you a random figure. For 1,000 word content, you can charge anywhere between say 1,500 to 2,000 rupees, because you are taking into consideration so many factors, right? There are some medical topics which are very very complex. You cannot finish them in one day. Correct. You have to refer to many research articles, medical books, and all that. So again, then you can put higher prices for such topics. So this is how you can charge. And I think, see, there are no standard rates. The more you write and the more you interact with people in this field, you will get a better idea.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for these insights. Ma'am, can you discuss the financial aspects of medical writing? How lucrative is it for someone pursuing it part-time during MBBS?
So I think the financial aspects of medical writing are good. It is not just lucrative for somebody who is a MBBS student and pursuing it part time. It is lucrative for anybody and everybody out there. This I can say based on my experience, simply because see, medical writing is a very very booming field. It offers you lots of flexibility. You can work part time, you can work full time, or as a freelancer, you can work with multiple clients, right, for different content. So it is as good as taking 2 3 salaries at the same time. ठीक है, even on a monthly basis. So it is very very lucrative. Also you get to deal with so many different aspects of medical concepts, scientific concepts, health and wellness in general. So you always keep learning something new, and the demands have been increasing for medical writers. So it pays you well and it's very very lucrative.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for providing these insights. Now we are done with the pricing and payment segment. Now moving to the next segment, that is long-term career prospects. So, ma'am, can you tell our audience what are the long-term career prospects for someone in medical writing? Can this be a full-time career post MBBS?
Okay. Uh, See, I am not a doctor. Okay. But still, as a medical writer, whatever I have also experienced and whatever I have learned from other medical writers in my network who are friends and who are doctors turned medical writers, I can definitely give some insights in this. Now, first thing is that there are quite good long term career prospects for someone in medical writing. Okay. Simply because, as I said, it offers lots of flexibility. You can work remotely, you do not need to go to an office to work. The pay is very good because medical writing is a specialized kind of writing. Not everybody can write this. Okay. Most medical writers are specialists in their fields. They are pharmacists or nurses, biotechnologists, microbiologists, or doctors, right? So specialized people are involved. So the payment is usually very high. Flexibility is there. You can get remote work and different types of content formats you can explore. This can be a full time career post MBBS, definitely. And also, along with doing your MBBS, also you can explore this. Now, in my network, whichever medical writers, who have been doctors and who have transitioned to medical writing, I don't think anybody has gone back to clinical practice. Again, simply because when you're doing clinical practice, you're almost always working, right? You have 15, 18-hour work days. Sometimes doctors work 24 hours, right? You don't have any holidays. You work on the weekends, and it's a lot of hard work, right? So, but in medical writing, you can use the same medical scientific expertise, your background, but you can work from the comfort of your home. You can give time to your family because you're working remotely or part time. So, whatever medical writers I have interacted with, and those who are doctors, they have never gone back to the clinical practice. So this is I think an interesting thing that even I came across. And yes, there are lots of long term career prospects uh, which anybody can take advantage of.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for these insights. The next question I want to ask you that how does the field of medical writing evolve and what future trends should aspiring writers be aware of?
Okay. Now, as a medical writer, see, you can usually start out as a freelancer or as a trainee or junior medical writer. Your role will get evolved and you can become a senior medical writer. Okay. So, where you could be handling more complex projects. Like now in medical writing, there are, something known as compendiums. So, which is, it can differ from company to company, but usually, pharmaceutical companies, they want to compile a set of research articles into a particular document where the different kind of research studies which have taken place on their particular molecule which is going to become their drug. So they will compile this information into a crisp clear format in a document. So that is a compendia. So that usually you will get once you are an expert medical writer. So that is how your role will evolve. You will get more complex medical projects, whereas as a junior or as a beginner you can start off with social media posts, blog writing. Slowly you can move on to pharmaceutical advertising projects. So you can create a visual aid, a leave behind leaflet, or you can go into CME education kind of all that. Also, after a senior medical writer, maybe you can become a manager in medical writing, right? Or a content head, medical content head, where you will oversee all the projects and you can train the juniors to how to create a medical content piece, how to edit it, what are the best practices, which mistakes to avoid. So that is how typically your role will transition or will evolve in medical writing. Maybe you can also start your own medical communication agency, so as a business person, so that is something you can also evolve into.
All right,
And I
ma'am. Thank.
think you
Yes,
also
yes,
asked future trends, right?
yes,
So
ma'am.
I think future trends for medical writers will be nothing but, you have to keep yourself updated. Now, initially there were no guidelines around this, but I think now a lot of regulatory and ethical guidelines have come into place. So you can regularly check websites of, American Medical Writer Association, European Medical Writer Association. So they usually provide a lot of, good writing habits, best practices, and guidelines that you have to stick to, right? For example, if you're writing on particular illness and disease area, you have to see to it that you are not making the readers feel insecure about their condition and all that. You're not putting out any false claims, right? Because a lot of time what happens is the content that you are creating as a medical writer is all sorts of marketing content, and marketing people, they will make you write something which is not true for your product or service. So you have to take utmost care while doing this, and that is where actually medical writers have an upper edge. Because as a normal content writer, as a marketing content writer, you might, just put something out there, but the medical writer is somebody, who will scrutinize that content, and he will say that no, this is not something you can just put without any scientific or medical evidence. So that is why the role of a medical writer becomes very, very important. And I think when I was working, like whenever I have also worked as a freelance medical writer, there are certain trends, like now patient education is becoming very popular. So I think you can learn more about how to create patient education materials, right? Detailers and all that. Patient profilers have become very, very popular in medical writing. So these are a few trends that aspiring writers can find out about.
All right, ma'am. Thank you so much for providing insights about the trends. So the next section is learning and growth.